Coming up, 4 runs required. This is 6, and Pakistan have won.
Australia have won the World Cup of 2011. Australia are the World Cup champions of 1999.
What a victory for the Sri Lankans. A fantastic...
Here's the man who's been largely responsible for us over the last.
The first World Cup, that is Australia's joy, and England.
Hello to all of my viewers and another exciting episode of Match Point by Dr. Adnan. I welcome you on the forum, and not a happy news from my side for the Pakistan followers, but still India is doing good versus Australia at a very exciting test match, and we will of course in the future Match Point we will be discussing that match soon. But first of all, the major headlines of this Match Point. Congratulations to the New Zealand for the first ever remarkable win against Pakistan in their fortress, which they say Abu Dhabi, and exceptional performance by the Kane Williamson, and outclassed Pakistan in all department, and telling Pakistan and the Pakistan skipper how to lead their team in the difficult time and how to bat on the fourth inning. And instead of coming to the trap of Pakistan went into their own trap on the fourth day and losing the series to the New Zealand 1-2. Brave declaration as a captain. The next news is the Black Caps winning the third test. So finally, after the 1969, this is the first time when they have won the series in subcontinent, and a great and a remarkable victory, and years to remember for the Black Caps and the future generations to come, that they beat Pakistan single-handedly in the first test and in the last test of the series from a good position, and then in the first innings to a batting collapse, and then letting New Zealand take a big lead, and then on the fourth day, as expected, succumbing just like the piece of papers and the autumn leaves. They showed that we have been known in the international cricket by the name of Team Pakistan. Fakhar Zaman, Mohammad Abbas and Shadab Khan has been finally picked up for the South African squad, as Pakistan team is going to South Africa soon afterwards, and at the end of the December, Pakistan is going to start the series with South Africa. So soon I will tell you the names of the team members who have been selected. I will tell you the list of South Africans and also the Pakistani players who have been selected, but this was purely looks like the Mickey's team. So in the headline, I may tell you that Shadab has been included back in the test after recovering from the injury, and Bilal Asif has been dropped from the team in spite of performing well in the series, in the home series against Kiwis. Captain wanted the Mir Hamza because his eyes were towards the Mir Hamza as playing with the Quetta Gladiators, knowing the guys very well. Sarfraz Ahmed was willing for the Mir Hamza, and also he was going to offer the space for the Saad Ali, but then it has been heard that Mickey Arthur overruled the decision of the skipper, and we say, who rules the world? Who rules the world in the 1992, and we say Pakistan rules. But if we say who rules the world now, we say Mickey Arthur rules the world, and Mickey Arthur rules the Pakistan team and the dressing room. Sarfaraz Ahmed is very upset, Pakistan dejected skipper now after this loss, and he said he's willing to leave the seat for the captain for the test team if the result remains the same or the condition remains the same for the little more matches. He can resign from the test captaincy. So it is quite interesting that Rizwan coming back in the team, and if in the future Sarfaraz doesn't want the captaincy and Sarfaraz is even not performing well with a bat, so in which capacity Sarfaraz will be in the team? This could have been either way. It could have been work either way for the Sarfaraz Ahmed or for Rizwan. Very interesting to see if Sarfaraz insists that he doesn't want to captain Team Pakistan, but yet this is the big headline. Now in the headlines I want to tell you about the test losses for the Pakistan in the UAE in their fortress, where Pakistan team was ruling with the likes of Misbah-ul Haq and Yunus Khan. I want to remind you that under the era of Misbah-ul Haq and then the Yunus Khan, there were 4 losses, only 4 losses in 24 games. And then would you believe, under Sarfaraz Ahmed, 7 games they have played in their fortress, in their alternate home, and they have lost 4 games out of those 7. And don't forget, they lost a game. They lost 2 games against the Minnow Sri Lanka of that time in the last year, who has been beaten up outstandingly by the virtually every possible team in the test circuit. And that team came to the Abu Dhabi and Dubai and beat Pakistan in a 2-match series last year. Test series losses for the Pakistan in UAE in overall, if I say, under Misbah, 0 losses in 9 series, means Misbah never lost the series in their own fortress Dubai and Abu Dhabi, while under Sarfaraz now 3 series and Pakistan have lost 2 series. Pakistan, with a virtue of this loss, now slips to the 7th in the test rankings. As you can see in the cue card, that Pakistan goes to the 7th in the test rankings. Sarfaraz said that we have a great example of Kane Williamson, and he praises his opponents, and he said his mind and his presence on the crease has outclassed Pakistan's skipper. He has demoralized Pakistani bowlers all around the 5 days of cricket, whether at the batting crease or whether in the fielding positions. He has demoralized, and Sarfaraz has admitted that he is better captain than Sarfaraz Ahmed of Pakistan. Yasir Shah, who broke the world record, as I have told you last time, and we predicted that this is going to be happen, a big headline news that Yasir Shah finally has been the quickest in the history of cricket to achieve the 200 test wickets when he broke the record of Clary Grimmett, with this record which was made years ago, about 82 years ago, and the last time when Clary Grimmett played the match, that was 1936. Clary Grimmett, I just want to tell you about him, a short story, that Clary Grimmett, who was born back in the 1892 and then he died in 1980. He was born in New Zealand. He was a Kiwi, he was a New Zealander, but most of the part later on he joined Australian team. He was living in Australia and he died over there in Australia, and then he played for Australia in the last Ashes series after 1936. That was the last match which Clary Grimmett was seen. He did this effort in 36 games, and now Yasir Shah is the quickest to do it, and he broke the record in the 33 games. Next news is regarding one another promising youngster. When he took the wicket, with a joy he saw upwards, and now a lot more to come. And you would have guessed by so far that I'm saying about Shaheen Shah Afridi, a promising player from the Pakistan. He was given the test cap from the Pakistan side. He did the debut after only playing the 3 first-class games. And if I may remind you that who was the other one who played only 3 first class games and then jumped into the test cricket. He was one and the only legendary left arm around the wicket. He was the ex-captain of Pakistan, Wasim Akram, who has played 3 games and then joined Team Pakistan back in the 1984. And if I go back to the Tosif Ahmed, one of the brilliant off-spinners in the 1987 World Cup and the historic victory over India back in the Bangalore in the 1986, Tosif Ahmed is the one who came to the international scene, international circuit after without playing any regional game or without joining any club. He directly signed Pakistan cricket team. So let's see where Shaheen Shah Afridi will go. Shaheen Shah Afridi, a very brilliant and promising young man, and we can see that whether he goes into the boots of Waqar Younis or Wasim Akram or not, till time will decide. Bangladesh cricket president Nazmul Hasan has given the verdict finally. After a long meeting of 3 days, they have decided that Bangladesh is not going to come Pakistan, and there is no chance that Bangladesh will visit Pakistan in a away series. And they told there is only possible circumstances if Pakistan is willing to play with a Bangladesh on a neutral venue, and then Nazmul Hasan said that his team is willing to play in the UAE or any other place in the world. And then super added, the president said that the most likely, if the Indian team is willing to play on the neutral venue with Pakistan, that why not Bangladesh? Bangladesh could also be the one to be willing to play the series against Pakistan. And next news is from soccer, not from cricket. We will jump quickly to the soccer and then we will jump back to the cricket. Don't worry. The next headline news is about the Luka Modric, the Croatian sensation, which we saw in the current FIFA World Cup. He got the now the FIFA Golden Ball 2018 Ballon d'Or, which he got. He became the first player after Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo to get this in more than one time in a decade. Last time a player who have done and who have made this record, who was not Messi and who was not Ronaldo, that was none other but the Brazilian star forward Kaká, who did it back in the 2007. After 2007, the long, huge era of the football, we have seen only 2 persons were there, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, who have doubled the Ballon d'Or, and now the Luka Modric is the third man after these 2 historic footballers to make the double of this Ballon d'Or award. Now just at the end of the headlines, there is a time for my trivia factor, in which now you can see one gentleman on my screen. He was born today in 1910 and 108 years ago. Amar Singh, he was first to make a test 50 and also hit a first test 6 for India in Lords, in the home of cricket, back in 1932. And moreover, not the less, India's first genuine test all-rounder, 7 tests he played from 1932 to 36, 292 runs, 28 wickets, and also first to do the 1000 runs and 100 wickets in the Ranji Trophy in the regional tournaments in India. So it's a time for a short commercial break, because we are done for the headlines, and we will come back from the headlines. We will discuss what happened to Pakistan and what Kane Williamson did and what was the magic of Williamson, which was speaking in all the 5 days. Don't forget to come back. Stay tuned to the E-Awaz. You are watching Match Point by Dr. Adnan. Welcome back to the Match Point, as we were discussing about the New Zealand victory over the Pakistan in this classic third test and in this historic test, which New Zealand was able to win the series after 1969, long drought years, and then New Zealand finally winning against Pakistan. So now time to tell you the details. New Zealand's only 5th test series win in Asia, and the first over the 10 years, and last being against the Bangladesh in 2008. Later on, After that Bangladesh series, New Zealand were never able to beat any Asian side. And then today, 2018, now right after 10 years, New Zealand jumped back into the subcontinent with a blaster. New Zealand has won a test series away from the home against Pakistan now in the 49 years, as I explained to you regarding the 1969. So there is a long era and much awaited wait back in the Black Caps fans that when they will defeat the major teams, the Asian giants like Pakistan and India in the subcontinent, and finally they did it in style. The last time Black Caps beat in the away series was, as I told you, the 1969, and since then afterwards Pakistan has won such 4 series, even whether touring towards the New Zealand or whether playing back in their home and drawing 2 such test series against New Zealand. Super innings by the Kane Williamson, and what a demanding situation and what a player he is. The need of the time, he put his brave effort first in the first innings, narrowly missed his century, and then bravely making the century, and then bravely doing the declaration decision, and then putting Pakistan into the back foot. Pakistan has lost now 3 out of the last 4 tests in Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is not a happy hunting ground as a home series for the Pakistan. If you remember now, twice they lost to the New Zealand and one time they have lost to the Sri Lanka. About the Williamson innings, it was such a marvelous innings that I have not seen on the day 4 such a brilliant innings. And what do I believe that at the same time when Kiwis skipper was playing, he has scripted a victory over Pakistan at that very day. It was little premature to say, but I predicted at that time that if New Zealand gave the lead to the Pakistan in between 270, 280 to 320, it will be hard for Pakistan not only to draw the match but also to defend the match and to stop the defeat at the hands of Kiwis. Pakistan's recent test record at the home, if I go in the UAE, is Pakistan have played 8 games and Pakistan winning 2, lost 5, and Pakistan have drawn only 1 game over there. Their recent test series losses in the UAE, if I go to the Sri Lanka, 0-2. Pakistan lost both the match of the series when there is a 2-match series versus Sri Lanka in September-October 2017, and now Pakistan losing to the New Zealand 1-2 in the Dubai-Abu Dhabi series, which was happened now in November and December. Pakistan loses second test series in the 1 year of their home fortress after Misbahul Haq. When Misbah and Yunus were playing, Pakistan lost only 4 tests out of 24 tests in the UAE, and since then, if I come to the point, they have lost 4 games out of 7 games. This was enough to put the questions on the Sarfaraz captaincy in this very format of the game, the test matches. Pakistan series result in the UAE since 2010, if I compile overall, Misbah Yunus era played 9, won 5, draw 4, and since afterwards they played 3, won 1 and lost 3. New Zealand was dominating right from the beginning, from the very first day of the test when this third match in Abu Dhabi started. You can see with the toss, the luck favors the Bravos. Kane Williamson winning the toss and not putting Pakistan into the bat, putting Pakistan to the field and elected to bat. At that moment, who would have thought that this is a good decision for the Williamson? But just see how the match shaped up, and this is the beauty of test cricket which we have enjoyed over last full magical 5 days in the Abu Dhabi cricket ground. Kiwis winning the toss, elected to bat. Kiwi skipper making the brilliant 89, narrowly skipping the century, and then Watling making the 77 and then making the score of 274, which was a quite good score for the Pakistan to overrule, and Pakistan did it. And we were not going to believe that this match will turn this way. Even the Williamson had a brilliant effort in the batting lineup of the Kiwis, the tumbling batting line of Kiwis against the pressure of Yasir Shah from the last match, and then also there was a pressure of quickest to achieve 200, and then Bilal Asif was brilliantly, he was bowling, magically he was bowling. So that's why this score, we were thinking that this could have gone to the 350 or plus. They restricted New Zealand below 300 and they finished with 274 all out. Asif grabbing, as I told you, the fifer, 5 wickets, and the Yasir Shah, the magical spin bowler, he only able to grab here the 3 wickets. And Shaheen Shah Afridi, as I told you in the headline, who was given the cap in this very test match, he grabbed 2 wickets, and the very first wicket that came on the review, and those were the happy moments for the Shaheen Shah Afridi. And Pakistan then came to bat, and again we have seen in the Pakistan the crisis of the Pakistan opening partnership. Pakistan again failed to make the opening partnership. Hafiz and Imam, again they failed to pile up the huge runs for Pakistan. Wickets were tumbling, but later on the brilliant 2 centuries from the Pakistan, Azhar Ali and Asad Shafiq, they were standing firm in the middle, and then Azhar Ali making the brilliant 134 while Asad Shafiq making 104 runs, and Pakistan accumulating 348 runs in the first batting. And then the Azhar Ali 15th test 100 it was in the 132nd innings, and overall if we say this was in the 70th test in the December 2018. So this was quite amusing, and I brought this record and stat for you guys to compare. Although we cannot compare with the likes of the Pakistani great Javed Miandad, he was ever blossoming anchor of the Pakistan cricket team back in the 80s and then in the 90s. Even in the late 70s, Javed Miandad was one of the pillars of the Pakistan, and since we lost him and since his retirement, Pakistan was never able to achieve his backup plan in the Pakistan batting lineup, in the fragile batting lineup. Even in the 70s, even in the 80s, the same pitiful story. He was the one who was saving Pakistan at that time in the 80s. If we compare Azhar Ali's record along with the Javed Miandad, you will be surprised to know that in the 15th test 100, when Azhar Ali is making, as I told you, in the 132 innings, Javed Miandad's 15th test 100 came in the 133rd innings. So in the 86th test, and Azhar Ali did in the 70th test, and Javed Miandad did it in August 1987 when they were at the away tour with the Imran Khan's Pakistan, touring the English team of the Graham Gooch and the Mike Gittings team, and that was the first time in the history when Pakistan beat England in their den at that series. So that was the classic series in which Javed Miandad achieved this feat, and now Pakistan's ex-test captain Azhar Ali has achieved this feat in some shorter tests, by playing some shorter tests. Most runs in the test in the UAE, if we say, obviously Pakistan team is playing as an alternate home, so they will make, but the most test runs now, Azhar Ali is leading the run plan with the 2,488 runs, with the Yunus Khan on the second, 2,484. So he broke the record of Yunus Khan of making the most runs in the UAE, and already he has broken the record of great Misbahul Haq with 2,209 runs, with Asad Shafiq coming behind to chase him at 1,939. And if you want to know that who is the one non-Pakistani batsman who has accumulated more runs on this desert, UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi and Sharjah, he is one and the only, the previous skipper of Sri Lankan team, Kumara Sangakkara. He has made and he has compiled 682 runs in the desert. He is the first and the only non-Pakistani bowler in the list who has made this much runs. He has accumulated this place. Asad Shafiq, now he has made the 100, as I told you. He has scored now 12 test centuries without being dismissed in the 90s. So amazing and a terrific record for the Asad Shafiq. I am sorry that he couldn't perform for the Pakistan the second game along with the Azhar Ali, but this was something very good and to boost his confidence, that he never came into the trap of the nervous 90s, and he is still ongoing, and you can see the list of the nervous 90s. So now he is on the maximum from the Pakistan. Pakistan has now lost 8 out of 12 games where Asad Shafiq has scored a century. This is the very surprise factor for me, that Asad Shafiq making a century and Pakistan losing, because in all the previous attempts, when I'm explaining to you, is the same thing what happened, that Asad Shafiq was unable to perform in the second innings, and that's why Pakistan suffered. If Asad Shafiq and the Pakistan's middle order here accumulate some runs and give some solid partnership like Yunus Khan and Misbah-ul Haq, believe me, the record will be the same as about the great Misbah-ul Haq. I was telling that out of 9 series, he never lost a series in UAE, because the middle order was never clumsy, because of the presence of the great Yunus Khan and the duo of Yunus and Misbah-ul Haq. In the end, in this session, Somerville taking the 4 wickets, and then second innings started, where the Williamson came again and he made the brilliant 139 runs, take a bow, and this was the foundation which he laid for the New Zealand victory. And at the 139 runs on the turning track against the roughs we have seen on the pitch, and the Yasir Shah, the magic of Yasir Shah was there, but Williamson, there was nothing and no force was involved to stop the magic of Kane Williamson, the skipper of the New Zealand. He failed all the magics of Pakistan cricket team. And then Henry Nicholls, who was the last day, before coming on the last day, on the 4th day in the session when Williamson was out, the session was closed at 90, and then he made the brilliant 126 not out, and the quick 126 not out, because he was getting the signals from the dressing room for the declaration. Yasir getting the 4 wickets, and New Zealand declared the innings after making 353 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. First time it happened. A very interesting fact, that Kane Williamson has been dismissed after scoring 100 in the second innings. This was his 6th second innings 100. This is the magic of Kane Williamson. This is the magic of every Hall of Fame of the cricket, when they score in the second innings. What I was telling you regarding the Misbah-ul Haq, Yunus Khan, Javed Miandad, Viv Richards, Sunil Gavaskar, and one and only batting maestro Virat Kohli. This is the 100 which is in need of time. This was the 6th second innings 100. His 100 plus scores in the New Zealand second innings is very interesting. Just listen to the fact: 102 not out, 161 not out, 242 not out, 108 not out, 104 not out, and then 139. This was the only time when he was trapped out in and even this time he was trapped because he was trying to do the acceleration in the runs, so that to quickly achieve the target to put Pakistan to bat, and that's why I think this happened. But that was brilliant from Kane Williamson, non-Asian batsman with the average in the Asian conditions. If you go, Kane Williamson is brilliant with a 52.44. But believe me, this is not the topmost slot. 52.44 is the second best for the non-Asian batsman to perform good in the desert. The best one to perform in the subcontinental conditions is the Devon Bravo, who has made at the average of 54.37, and then comes Steven Smith with 48 and Hashim Amla on 47.66 average. In spite of these roughs which was they were happening on the pitch, we have seen on the last day, on the second last day, and even then the New Zealand tail hampered Pakistan bowlers all around the Abu Dhabi stadium. There was no place where they have left Yasir Shah or any other bowler like Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali and Bilal Asif. They were hammering Pakistan bowlers like anything on the last 2 days. But I feel so bad for Bilal Asif that he bowled very well, but he has been dropped for the South African tour, and he was not put to bowl on the 5th day, and that was making sense. In the cricket pundit, they started saying that this willingly they are not giving him the ball on the last day, because at that time the brain game was set that Bilal Asif would have been dropped from the South African tour. Anyhow, brave declaration and then enterprising and aggressive cricket by New Zealand in the morning, declared after scoring 81 runs, hammering Pakistani bowlers in the 9 overs and then setting Pakistan 280 to win in about 79 overs. Rest of the story we will tell, because the signal have come for the quick short commercial break. After the break, when I will come, I will describe that how Pakistan come to the Kiwi space and what happened afterwards, and what is the future announcement for the Pakistan squad and the South African squad. You are watching Match Point. You can follow me on the Twitter at Dr. Adnan Khan, and you can follow me at the YouTube and the Facebook page Greatest Empire USA. Keep watching E-Awaz and we will be right back. Welcome back on the Match Point. So I was telling you on the day number 5 and the last day of the test match number 3 between the Shaheens and the Black Caps. So the target set by the Kane Williamson, it was 280. 280 on the last day with the Pakistan batting, and I told you previously that those people with a nervous deposition or with some other characters, they are not supposed to see the Pakistan batting. This is so fragile batting lineup, but even then 280 is not a big score. But if I go to the records show that still on this very ground on Abu Dhabi, on the last day, on the 4th day in the second innings, the maximum score has been made by the West Indian team, and that score is 322. If 322 according to the records have been made on this ground, why not 282, or why cannot Pakistan draw with a solid batting lineup with the likes of Babar Azam, Asad Shafiq, Azhar Ali, Professor, who was playing his last game, and he could have made it, he could have cherished it for the long time, and he could have made it memorable with the classic innings, with the classic strokes. But even the target was not that much, 282, but I think that was too much for the Pakistan's fragile batting lineup. The highest 4th inning total was 322 by the West Indies, that was made in October of 2016, and the highest 4th inning score regardless of the Abu Dhabi, Sharjah or Dubai, which Pakistan have made to win a test, is 382 for 3 under the captaincy of Azhar Ali versus Sri Lanka, and that was back in July 2015 in Palakkale, and Pakistan winning that test match. The last time when Pakistan won a test series, this is the point which was most alarming for me at the end of the 4th day, when Kane Williamson got out and Henry Nicholls was still playing and the bails were off on the 4th day. That Pakistan, the record shows that in the past, after losing the first test, and when Pakistan was able to win the series, that never happened except 1995. 1995 was the time when the touring Zimbabwean side was playing versus Pakistan, and in spite of losing the first game, Pakistan have won the series. After 1995, Pakistan have never won the series after losing the first game. So this was the first alarming sign which came to our mind, and Pakistan succumbed to the simple 156 runs against the Kiwis bowling attack. Pakistan today were bowled out in 56.1 overs, and predicted yesterday that New Zealand would need about 60 overs in the 10 wickets. Lot of cricket statisticians were telling yesterday that they need this much runs and this overs, and believe me, they were so accurate. Hats off to them, and exactly that formula, it looks like to them that what stats gurus were saying, exactly that correct formula was given in the hands of the Kane Williamson, who was the New Zealand skipper, and he followed the formula. And the best thing was that I think that the Pakistan team was also reading this, and they also correctly batted according to this formula. Babar Azam making the 50 but I will say it that Babar Azam's 50 was the criminal 50. I will say it criminal to make yourself out. And at that time, if I'm not wrong, when Babar got out, Pakistan knowing, and Babar Azam was knowing that there are 15 to 20 overs left in this session and Pakistan can draw the match, not to expose the tail and not to make any extraordinary effort with bat, not to show yourself the Marvel superheroes. But at that point, Babar playing that shot, that is beyond imagination. The two wickets, the wickets of the captain Sarfaraz Ahmed, which how he has given the wicket to the New Zealanders, and then the Babar Azam, that is not forgivable. Babar could have saved the game for Pakistan. Believe me, if here the batting mastery of Virat Kohli would have been here, or Steven Smith would have been here from the Australia, or any other competitive batsman which Babar has been to whom Babar has been compared. Do you believe that match was not in their hands? This match was in the Pakistan hands. I'm not saying to win the match, but Pakistan could make the series square 1-1, and this was the drawn game, and Babar was having the huge responsibility, and he wasted the opportunity of Pakistan to make this series draw here by making the irresponsible shots. And if there should be a accountability, and if there is a correct accountability, Babar should have been questionable of playing this shot and putting Pakistan in the deep trouble, and then Pakistan folded up at 156. Tim Saudi, Patel and Somerville all grabbing the 3 wickets each, putting the equal share in the New Zealand bowling. New Zealand is the only second away series win against Pakistan, first since 1969, and the first away tour in the over 2 years when they came to the when they travelled after the long time. 2016 they travelled, and then now they are travelling after the huge gap of 2 years. Very well played, Black Caps. Most wickets in a 3-test series loss. My commiserations to the Yasir Shah, his great bowling. 29 wickets to the Yasir Shah versus New Zealand in the losing cause. But the worst, this is the worst in the losing cause to grab the maximum wickets. The second worst was Mutaya Muralidharan, who took 28 wickets versus Australia in 2004, but unfortunately Sri Lanka also lost the series. And then Charlie Llewellyn versus Australia, he got the 25 wickets in the Ashes series in 1902 and then lost the series. So these were the setbacks for the bowlers who played brilliantly but and suffered because of their team. Yasir Shah, finally man of the series, first Pakistani bowler to take 10 wickets in a day, bagging wondrous 29 wickets, and fastest to grab 200 wickets, breaking the 86 years old record of Craig Grimmett, and ultimately he is the one to follow this hallmark in 33 games. Biggest difference between if I go to the leading wicket taker from the losing side and the next highest in a series from a winning cause. So we have also compiled the 3 cases for you, the interesting figures with me. If I go back to the 1978-79 Ashes series, Rodney Hogg 16, and then Alan Hurst 25 in a losing cause from the England, and then 16 from the Shane Warne, and then Andrew Flint of 24 in the Ashes in 2005, and same way, and now 16 from the 29 from the Yasir Shah, and from the Ijaz Patel 13. So versus losing cause and versus the winning, when the average is more on the losing side, this has been done by the Alan Hurst, this has been done by the Shane Warne, and finally it has been done by the Yasir Shah in the losing cause. Williamson, of course, the man of the match, the man in form, who has saved New Zealand from the blushes in every format of the game, virtually against Pakistan. Pakistan being trapped on their own net on the last day, turning pitch on the Abu Dhabi 55 for 5, and then grabbing the tail in the last 2 sessions. That is the captaincy of the New Zealand skipper, and also with the virtual of Pakistan fragile batting lineup. Pakistan's losing all 10 wickets in the final day of the test match. This has been happening very oftenly, which are not the good signs of the test cricket for the Pakistan. Needs to refigure, needs to remodel the things. This is not good signs. If I go back since 2016, 201, they got all out in 20.5 overs in Edgbaston, and then in Hamilton, New Zealand, 229 after playing 89.1 overs, they were all out. And then at the MCG versus Australia, they were all out on 163 after playing 53.2 overs. And then 3 times now in the Abu Dhabi, they have been out on the full one last day, making 114 versus Sri Lanka, 134 versus New Zealand, and now 156 versus New Zealand in Abu Dhabi. 13 out of Pakistan last 14 opening partnership. 3 times they couldn't make to the double figures. The maximum score they made, that was 40, beyond 40 Pakistan opening partnership. This is the huge woes and worries for the Pakistan, that Pakistan has been not able to cross that in the last 13 games. Mohammad Hafiz finally bids farewell to the Pakistan cricket team, and he called it a day, and this was the last game. But क्या ही अच्छा होता कि हफीज़ कुछ इंतज़ार कर लेते, and he would have come up on the front and he would have gone to the South Africa playing the series versus Dale Steyn, and then declaring himself declaring from the game and saying the retirement issue and putting the retirement over there would have been a great if we would have seen from the professor. But I think this was not good, because he was knowing that Pakistan is going to the tough tour. South African tour is always a tough tour. Pakistan is always struggling in South Africa, in New Zealand, in Australia. England is the only condition, England is the only country where Pakistan team is performing well and putting the opposition under pressure since 3 decades. Otherwise, Pakistan is performing not good in the other areas of the other parts of the world, and he was knowing that Pakistan is going to the South Africa. He should have waited for that, or called, or if he was too eager to announce for the retirement, what do I believe? He should have taken retirement after having the glorious match and the glorious victory against Australia in the previous games. When the Australia series was finished, Hafiz should have called it a day at that very series. But anyhow, it was his decision. Mohammad Hafiz in the last 7 test innings, 17, 4, 6, 20, 19, 9, 0, total of 66 runs and average of 9.40. Again, the alarming signs of the Mickey Arthur and the Pakistan's batting coach. And in the past, when the Grant Flower we were seeing doing a lot of efforts with the Pakistan batting lineup. Imamul Haq is in the test squad now for the South Africa after continuous failures, and we feel so bad, and what a pity for the Abid Ali and Saad and the other performers who are doing very good in the domestic cricket in the Quaid Azam Trophy matches. I will tell you in the detail about them also quickly, and no justification was there to leave out, especially when I said about the Abid Ali. Abid Ali, who is playing for the Habib Bank HPL, he is playing magnificently now. Abid could have been the second wicket keeper as well, alternate, if Rizwan would have not been there in the squad. Abid Ali was good with a bat, so there were a lot of pros and cons. He was keeping wickets for Lahore, Islamabad and State Bank in the past, and he had did his job very magnificently. The impressive Abid Ali, who scored 134 for HPL against SNGPL in the Quaid Azam Trophy final, he even couldn't make the final place because he was not in the good books of Mickey Arthur and Inzamamul Haq, because Inzamam is not willing to leave Imamul Haq out of the team in spite of so many failures. So come to the Imamul Haq, his confidence would have been shattered from the short balls, as you have seen now that he was recently now on the second last day, he was hit by the Trent Bolt on the head, on the helmet, and later on he gave his wickets very easily because he was under pressure of that ball. And last month Loki Ferguson hit him on the helmet, and now he will have to face the music of Dale Steyn in the South Africa. So let's see how the things progress and how the things will be shaping up. And now it's a time to tell you for the Pakistan squad. So here we go. You can see the list of Pakistan squad. Imamul Haq, Fakhr Zaman, Shan Masood, Azhar Ali, Haris Suhail, Asad Shafiq, Babar Azam, Sarfaraz Ahmed, skipper, Mohammad Rizwan, the alternate, Yasir Shah, Shadab Khan, and Abbas came back to the team. Hassan Ali, Muhammad Amir has been given the place. He is back in the team. Fahim Ashraf and Shaheen Shah Afridi. So after the Pakistan, the South African team has also announced their squad. Cricket South Africa had named a 13-member squad, 3-match test series against Pakistan, which is starting at the Super Sport Park Centurion on December of 26 this year. This will be the last match and the boxing match. The big boxing match is coming, and the boxing test match has always been famous for. So let's see, can Pakistan make a history here or not, or who will be the remarkable man to perform in the boxing. You will have to tune on the match point, but I will have to test you regarding the squad of the South Africa. So South Africa, Faf du Plessis captain, Hashim Amla, Bevuma and Thunistry Brown, and Deacock, Dean Elgar, Zubair Hamza, Kishaf Maharaj. He will be playing first time against Pakistan. Mark Karam, Eden Markham, Olivier, Vernon Philander, Rabada will be playing, and none other but the last but not the least, Dale Steyn will be there. Hafiz will not be here, but still it would have been seen that how he will perform against Pakistan. So let the time will come and they will show that how they will offer the resistance to the Dale Steyn and to the other bowlers. And of course we have to wait for the magic of the great Hashim Amla. So next, England now winning the series in Sri Lanka and New Zealand beating Pakistan in the UAE. It's a very delightful sign that these teams are beating now the Asian giants in their den. I think now it's the subcontinent turn. It's the India's turn to beat Australia in their den, and the Pakistan turn to beat their opponents South Africa over there, and the Sri Lanka and the Bangladesh, they beating the New Zealand in their den. So let's see how the Asian giants, they will be able to do away, as they are doing very good in the series, but still time will tell that what they will do. Time to close the show, because signal has been done to close the show. But what we do before closing the show? Then bring the music on, because it's a time for the killer factor. So here we go for the killer factor. The last time when New Zealand won the series on the subcontinent, whether it is India, whether it is Sri Lanka, whether it is Bangladesh, whether it is Pakistan, that was back in the 1984, when the great Imran Khan, Mohsin Khan, Abdul Qadir, Javed Miandad, and Hall of Fame Pakistan strong team, and from the Indian side, Kapil Dev, Mohinder Amarnath, Sunil Gavaskar, and lot more bigger names in the Indian team. So they won the last series in those era when it was a time of 1984. But this is not the killer factor. Killer factor is this, that since that time when the last victory was happened against the subcontinent team and against the major giants, at that time the New Zealand team which is playing right now, what do you think? Who was born and who was not born? Would you believe that there was only one man who is in the current squad? He was born at that time when New Zealand last beat them in the subcontinent. Who was that? That man was none other but the Ross Taylor. And what do you guess? In this killer factor, Ross Taylor, how old he was? He was only 21 days old when this magical historic victory of Kiwis happened over here. So he is the only one in the current squad who witnessed this victory with the 21 days in his mommy's lap. He witnessed, and now he witnessed this victory again when he is now old and almost about to retire from the game. So New Zealand had to wait so much long awaited years for this magical victory and magical series win against the Asian giants. Otherwise, they were unable to win the series against Pakistan. I hope you would have liked the Killer Factor and keep watching Match Point. You can follow me on the YouTube and on the Facebook with the same scrolling down. There's a slide of the greatest empire USA. This is the name of my YouTube channel and the name of my Facebook page. You can give here suggestions, you can write to me, you can call me. The number is scrolling and I will be waiting for you guys. Next time when I will come for the Indian fans, I will give you the huge news and the bombastic news of the killer factors and stats about what's happening in between Virat Kohli's India and to the Tim Paine's Australia. And we will be back on the same forum E-Awaz and on the same show Match Point. Till then, Dr. Adnan says you goodbye. Take care and bye-bye. Hafiz has finally called it a day and Hafiz will not be in the South African tour. यार वो क्या करेगा, डेल स्टाइन क्या करेगा? So Mohammad Rizwan has finally been added to the Pakistan squad as a Mickey's favorite in the team. So Pakistan finally losing the series and New Zealand has been able to win after 1969. और यार मरवा दिया हमें यार. ये ठहरे स्कोर बेहतर कर दूंगा जिसको मैं ठहरे. So Pakistan losing the test series and this was the first ever time since 1969 when Pakistan lost the series and New Zealand has been able to win the series. अबे मैंने क्या किया है, वो तो सीरीज पाकिस्तान पर है. मैं जरा सांस भी ले लूँ जरा. And मेरा रिदम टूट गया थोड़ा. The match, the day number 1 was 4 deliveries and then यार क्या कर रहा हूँ यार मैं. शुरू कर दूँ? Sorry.
Australia have won the World Cup of 2007. Australia are the World Cup champions of 1999.